Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome back to Office Hours. So excited to be back. We kind of took a little bit of a break while we're going through our Smartsuit Pro II launch, which we just announced is open for pre-order. So we're super excited about that. Hello to everyone in the chat. Brett, I will get to your questions in a second, but yeah, I just wanted to, say hi again. If you've never seen a Rokoko Office Hours before, this is kind of a more casual stream where I hop on and we can talk about whatever. You guys can ask questions, and then I will kind of be working on a project in the background, which in this case is going to be some Houdini fun. So that should be really fun. And also, I am Sam. Hello, creative director for Rokoko. So. Yeah, good to see you guys. Good to be back. And Brett, how long does it take to switch the sensors to the second suit and recalibrate? It probably, if you're very fast, it can take you 5 minutes, no more than 7 to 10 minutes. It's just a matter of how good you get at making sure that the sensors don't like they're Velcro. So if sometimes I'm doing it on a rug and the sensors will get like stuck to the rug and it makes the whole process a little bit harder. But if you're on like a countertop or something that isn't sticky to Velcro, it's super quick. You can change them out really easily. And recalibration is really simple. Generally in Rokoko Studio, I recommend creating an actor profile based on height alone. So you just type in the height of your actor and then do a calibration, and that's it. They get to work. My mic is clicking, Bagheera. Thank you for letting me know. That's not good. I'm going to lower the volume a little bit. Maybe that'll help. Make sure it's plugged in. Hopefully that will fix it. Let me know if it doesn't. I also have some construction happening outside, so apologies for that. Turn it off and on again. Okay, Karas, I'm doing it. Test. Sounds robot-y. Was there a filter on here or something? Well, looking better. Sounding better, hopefully. Still borked. Well, how bad is it? Because I can work on changing it out. Actually, hold on. I can try and do this, but don't want to be... Hold on, let me try and switch it over to this guy. I don't know why it would be. Quite bad. Okay, give me 1 second. I'm going to unplug it. Hello, Nick. Thank you, everyone, for chiming in and letting me know. I appreciate it because I don't want bad audio the whole time. Be right back, as the screen will say. Okay, I just changed an audio port. And if that doesn't work, I'm going to try to add a new input here. Okay, how about that? That's a new mic. Ooh, too loud. Any better? Always fun getting back into streaming. Something is always going to break. Still the same? Same? An OBS issue. Fun times, guys, right? An OBS issue. Okay. Audio. Okay. How about that? Any better? Played with a setting in OBS. Hmm. GeForce experience, huh? Is that better? Nope. Still bad. Whoa, frustrating, guys. You can understand. That's such a bummer. But I don't know what the issue is. Can I? Oh, God. Sorry, everyone. A ton of popping. Okay, last thing I'm gonna try. A ton of popping. That's so frustrating. Testing. Last attempt. Sounds like a short. I don't know what that could be because we're trying different microphones. This is okay? I don't even know which one is going. Still popping? I have no idea. Well, obviously, apologies, apologies, apologies. This is incredibly frustrating, as always, with streaming issues, but something, it's probably like a not giving it enough power or something. Ah, frustrating. Well, hello, everyone. Sorry. I think we're going to stick with this if this is okay. And, you know, we'll get back to the good mic next week. Switch to the other mic again. Last switch. We're gonna live with this. Popping. Ugh. It's usable. Bluetooth headphones had issues. That makes sense. Okay. Well, here's the, my trusty snowball, which I love. Okay. Sorry, guys. Thank you for helping. I apologize when this happens. I'll try to cut this out of the actual thing. But yeah. Less bad. That's good. Turn it up a little bit. There we go. Okay. Hopefully that is not too horrible, though. It is very frustrating when there's bad audio. Well, yeah, as I said, we're here to chat about anything. Ask Smartsuit Pro II questions if you got them, and I'll answer them to the best of my ability. Shipping questions, I have less accurate information, but one of the big new exciting things that we released alongside the suit is we started up our Discord. So our Discord is up and running, which is really exciting. I'm going to post the Discord. The suit starts popping. Here's the Discord link. So if you do have more questions and you just want to, or you have questions about workflows, whatever it is, this Discord is a fantastic resource. We have Dave Lindbergh, who is an amazing team member who knows lots of different things about different softwares and is kind of a Unity nerd, but knows a little bit about everything. And the rest of the Rokoko team are on there too. And we have VIPs on there like Cinematic Captures. Willie Landgren is up there sometimes. Matt Workman, Cinematic Captures. But a lot of people, and so go check that out if you have questions. I had someone recently who needed to rent a suit, and I was like, you know what? I know where to send you now, which is the Discord. Before, I didn't really have a place, but now, reach out to the community if you have questions, and it's going to be great. Dave is amazing. Yes, Alberto. Dave is super cool. Dave is the best. He's taught me a lot. S&P, nice to see you. So, yeah, I know the mic is cracking. We just went through that. Apologies. We don't have a fix right now. I'm just going to try and not talk as much as I can, although I'm sure I'm going to I'm gonna fail at that. Yes, multi-level Santiago. We're gonna have some side-by-sides that are gonna come out soon. Somebody asked a question about shipping, and again, Jay. I think you asked a question about shipping. We're going to begin shipping them in January, so the pre-orders can serve as getting you further up in that line. I don't have super detailed information on shipping. Obviously, we're still working through our back order with the shipping delays that we've had up to this point, which we did publish a blog post about, which you can find on Reddit, about why that happened, which I think was good, just to let everyone know what the deal was, which is a kind of a global chip shortage issue, which a lot of companies are facing. So the earlier you order a suit, I do know the earlier it will be shipped. Smartsuit Pro II starts shipping in January, and for more accurate information, I would either go to the Discord, and they might be able to help you, or book a demo, and our demo team members will definitely have more accurate information on shipping, and that's kind of the answer on that. Just gonna keep going through, and again, I'm so sorry about the audio crackling. That is such a bummer. But yeah, Rokoko Studio, the new update, so that is coming. I don't want to give a timing thing in case we need to, I don't know, keep working on it, but it's coming shortly, and it will have a lot of things that will enable the Smartsuit system just to work better in general. So it's going to be a big part of Smartsuit Pro II, and also it's going to add. We've been testing the hell out of it and trying to get kinks out of it. But you can do retargeting in it. You're going to be able to do add props and import FBXs and lots of exciting things with Studio 2. Stay tuned for updates. It's still in process, but kind of January is going to be a big month. For us is kind of the vibe there, but it will play an integral part moving forward with the whole ecosystem, so it's going to be exciting. Karos, the new suit handling multiple levels for lying down when the feet are horizontal in the air. That's an interesting use case that I haven't actually played with yet. Just the elevation tracking when your feet are still on the ground. I'm not sure. I'll find out. Sorry, I don't have a better answer for that, Carlos. But again, I've seen you on the Discord. You know where to go. Pixelfire, what up? I owe you an email. Pixelfire, amazing VTuber in the chat, using Rokoko stuff, really innovative ways. Hey, Pixelfire. I'm going to reach out because I do want to chat with you because you're amazing, and I've seen all your stuff. And, man, in terms of VTubing, Pixelfire has, like, really gotten it sorted out and has a great workflow, it seems like. So check out their channel if you're interested in VTubing stuff. Ooh, Mega Miley. Good idea with the pop-up. I don't even know how to add. Is there an easy way to add text in? Can I just draw something in OBS? Text. Create new. Text. Sorry for the audio issues. With an asterisk. Oh. How about that? Oh. Oh, golly. There we go. Good idea. Okay. And God, yeah, I'm so sorry about the popping. That's so frustrating. What level of magnetic interference is reasonable to capture in? We say 0.4, Mega Steak Man. I have also gotten perfectly fine data in 0.4. It just, the best way to test it, unfortunately, is to boot a suit up. I've had fine performance with 0.9 kind of thing before. It depends. I would say that it should be fine with that, but I really can't say without actually testing it. And yeah, but 0.4 generally, and if you see it spiking a lot, then you know it might have performance issues. Honestly, again, the biggest issue I usually find with suit performance is that you're not getting enough Wi-Fi bandwidth. So that's always my go-to for fixing any sort of lagging problems or whatever. Magnetic interference I rarely have an issue with, but it can be, and you know, it says 0.4, so I'll say that. But that being said, like, you can get good performance when it's going off the chart. I don't know. Maybe there's different types of magnetic interference. Again, hit up the Discord for more information. Jay, Rokoko Studio is free right now. Rokoko Studio is always free. You can download it right now, and it comes with a sample project, and there's a 30-day free trial for using the pro features, and so you can test it all out right now, and it will continue to be free in the future. Bagheera, tell us more about the sensors and the improvement for, I think that's for V-tubing and usual drifting problems. Yes. So yeah, sorry, I was reading the comments. Yeah, basically the sensors drift has been reduced. So you know, I don't have a number, but it's been significantly reduced. Is kind of how we're treating it. Basically, what it means is you will have to do far less calibrations. You know, again, I need to put it through more paces, but essentially the sensors have been re-engineered slightly to help with drift. And then also there's a lot of stuff happening in the background that for the in studio that's going to help with the capture. So that's kind of been that's been worked on to produce better drift results. We need to get like some sort of metric to define what the increase in or the decrease in the drift is, but it's been significantly decreased. That's kind of what I can say. We need to get a better metric. If it's 2 times better, if it's 3 times better, what exactly that means. So, you know, stay tuned on the Discord and keep asking questions there. And hopefully we can get an engineer to chime in with exactly how much better it is. But it has been improved. You know, that's what we've seen. Essentially, with the new sensors allowing you to get more FPS in terms of the streaming quality that's coming over the network. 100 FPS is where it topped out on Smartsuit 1. That's the streaming resolution, right? So the FPS for the streaming data. Now it's 200 FPS. So all of that means that you're going to get less drift. And some of that stuff comes back to the what we've done to fight magnetic interference, but some of it is just like the streaming resolution is better, which means you get less drift. You know, Rokoko Studio has more data to work with, to pull from, in order to just make the mocap data better using the kind of the stuff in the background. So which question was that? Yeah, so that kind of, hopefully that answers some of the V-tubing stuff. It's going to be a big improvement for V-tubing. It will, Santiago, good to see you again, by the way. It will still work with Vive trackers. Yep, that's just a thing in Unreal, you know. So it will continue to work with Vive trackers just fine. Incoming Infinity, good to see you as well. I recognize you. Now I wish I had $3,000 for the new one. Got your suit and glove a year ago. Yeah, you might not, because a lot of people who have ordered, we've tried to sneak the new sensors into, you should have gotten an email if you have the new sensors that will be basically updated via a firmware update. So some things will be improved for people who have old sensors as well. But yeah, also, you know, I'm going to keep saying this a lot, but check the Discord. You know, we have like a really exciting new contest, which is going to be announced tomorrow, which is, you know, there's going to be discounts and things that will make it a little bit easier to get your hands on it too. Stay tuned. We're running monthly contests at this point, and stuff, and so there are opportunities to kind of reduce that cost, if you want to get creative. Jay, can you capture mocap with a phone? So we actually have a branch of the company, and let me let me add that audio popping source. Don't put that up there. We have a part of the company called Rokoko Care, which is working with biometric data. So that works off of a phone. So we are working on things. We are working in that space of video to mocap conversion, which I think we see a lot of people working on stuff like that. We had the Teams announcement the other day where they're going to have a whole thing now, which you can have a digital avatar in your Microsoft Teams meetings, which is obviously doing some mocap conversion from the video. But yeah, it's something that we're working on. It's the suit is the main mocap driver, but it is something that we've explored. For now, you just use an iPhone to do facial capture because you need the AR kit. But we have a very exciting Android solution coming out for that soon too, with a new helmet. Lots of new fun stuff coming out soon. We've kind of been lots of things we've been working on, which are now finally starting to see the light of day. Sorry, I'm just trying to get through these, everyone. Mega, there's a magnometer. If you just type in magnometer into the App Store or the Play Store, there's apps for that, and you can just use your phone. Basically, it tracks magnetic interference. But it's a little unreliable because sometimes you can get really good performance in a heavy magnetic area, and sometimes you can't. So I don't know. Maybe there's different types of magnetic interference, but that's what I do. It's a good way to at least try to cover your bases when you're preparing to work in a space. What I always recommend, especially if you're going to a new space, go test the suit. If that's something, it's always good to test the suit in the space. That's the best way to find out how bad the magnetic interference might be. Is it possible to see the Wi-Fi connection? Is it possible to see how well the Wi-Fi connection is within Rokoko Studio? That's an interesting question. There's no native way in Rokoko Studio, Mega, Miley, but there are ways to check your Wi-Fi bandwidth in the background using like networking apps and stuff. So there probably is a way. What you're trying to do is it's bandwidth on the Wi-Fi network, right? The more traffic on the network, it's filling up that pipe. There's less room in the pipe for your mocap data. I'm not an engineer and I'm not a scientist, so that's how I think about it. There's no native way, I don't think, in Rokoko Studio. Okay, just finishing the rest. Testable walk cycle. Yeah, Santiago, that's a good idea. We're going to have more side-by-sides and raw data tests coming out soon. Kaboom film experience. Can I track a parkour animation with Smartsuit Pro 1? I mean, you definitely can. It comes down to elevation changes are going to be tough in the Smartsuit Pro 1. In the 2, it's possible. It's going to be a thing. In the 1, that's tough. If you're doing something like jumping over a table or something like that, I think it works very well. You just need to make sure to clean up the data in Rokoko Studio, check the foot contacts, make sure everything looks right. But it's totally possible to do parkour. I've before the Smartsuit Pro II, I've done people doing. We've seen people doing backflips and free running, kind of aerial stuff before doing flips and stuff like that. So it definitely can work. And then you always have treadmill mode if you need to, which requires a lot of cleanup on the back end, but that ensures that you're going to be capturing everything. You're just not going to be translating around in space. So it's definitely possible, but it's just going to require a little work for free running. That would be my answer there. But I would definitely, it's definitely doable. Carlos, that's an interesting idea, asking if the video mocap capture could be used to help the suit more accurately. I don't know. Maybe. It could be. Probably. We are working on other exciting software-based ways to help the suit work better, which we'll be rolling out in waves. I don't want to say too much about that. Can you connect the suit to the phone, Jay? You can't connect the suit to the phone. You need Rokoko Studio to record your data or receive your data. But you can use the phone's Wi-Fi network. It just, the more things you add to the suit. So if you're doing like a suit alone, you could use your phone's Wi-Fi network like no problem. The suit also can generate a Wi-Fi network on the back hub. And the suit alone, that's going to be fine. You add smart gloves into the mix. Now you got two more things on your Wi-Fi network. Might get a little bit worse performance, might get some dropouts. You add face cap in, that's another thing on the Wi-Fi network. So it's all eating up bandwidth. But you can use the phone's Wi-Fi network for the suit, if that's what you meant. You need Rokoko Studios. You can't just use a phone and your suit to record data. Yes, Mega, it's good to check the micro Teslas, but again, it's not the best way to check. Woody Davis, good to see you. Woody Davis is a freaking boss, as are many people in the chat. Good to see all of you. Woody, we have the new, I think you might be on the Discord, maybe not, but we have a new Discord. Woody is doing lots of interesting things and put out an amazing tutorial a couple weeks ago about Unreal and how he does all of his VTubing stuff. Super 400 IQ stuff. Woody, your question, are magnets on the new suit improved in terms of the hardware? Yeah, they're not the non-magnet solution like the gloves. They're still susceptible to magnetic interference, but there have been changes in the hardware to help with that. So basically, we went in and there's new sensors. We redesigned the sensor platform in the sensors. So there are fixes, but it still is affected by magnetic interference. Keep working towards non-magnetic interference, and eventually we will have a solution that fixes that. But for now, magnets, it's possible that you can get interference. So, but there's other things that Studio 2 is doing that will be helpful in reducing drift, magnetic interference, all that stuff too. We've been diving deep into the software side of fixing and cleaning mocap. And that's always been a part of it because Rokoko Studio depends on that a lot. But it's clearly the future is going to be more software based, although we still believe using actual mocap hardware is the best way to get reliable mocap instead of doing a full AI based solution, because we're just not there yet in our opinion. But yeah, anyway, hopefully that answers your question. Will the suit work over Wi-Fi 6 E-band? I don't know, Brett. That's a great question. I've never used Wi-Fi 6. That's an engineering question, maybe for the Discord. So I'm up to a 5. I don't even know what Wi-Fi 6 is. I'll have to look at that. I mean, I'm over a 5 gigahertz network when I can. Maybe that's not even what that is referring to. Again, not an engineer or scientist, so sometimes my answers to these questions are a little bit shallow. Mega, we are going to be having some live demos that'll be happening soon. We're going to have a webinar where we're going to be, I think, getting some engineers to come on the stream and actually talk like in more detail about the changes that have been made, and we'll be debuting some live stuff. But yeah, so that's coming. Yeah, Woody, I totally agree with that. Okay, I'm making my way down. Discord link. Here it is. Boom. Make a V2 of the gloves that has sensors in all the finger joints. It's not in the works right now. We're pretty pleased with the gloves. Besides software updates, Karos, I don't think that that's something that's coming in the kind of near term in terms of studio, the new studio, and some Smartsuit. And it's kind of in this cycle. New gloves are not coming as far as I know, but things are always subject to change, I guess. Okay. Oh my gosh, Brett, that's crazy. Okay. Yeah, Pixelfire talking about how Woody set up his mouse to use an IK system for the hand. Super cool, man. Pixelfire and Woody, they're both awesome, and everyone else, you guys are all great. Anyway, okay, so I'm gonna keep looking at the questions, but also we're gonna I want to have some fun because there is some Houdini stuff that I thought was cool. Also, there's just some. I usually like to go through and kind of talk about some of the cool stuff we've seen from Rokoko users that have come out. Um, Norman, it should be better, but generally with seated, I generally recommend a treadmill mode anyway, because the suit is always, it is still based on the feet contact with the ground. There's some tricky stuff that's happening to fix elevation, but you know, as if your feet aren't resting on the ground, that's always going to be a bit of a problem, which is why we use treadmill. It should be better, but I would still, for like a longer stream where you're sitting, treadmill is going to be the way to go, I would imagine, um, even with Studio 2. Although, again, I haven't really put Smartsuit 2. I haven't put the 2 through like a really extended VTuber workflow yet. I haven't had a chance to, so maybe it'll be much better. In general, everything is better, but also in general, it's still a foot contact system. So sitting is always going to be kind of a drifty problem. Um, okay, yeah. So a couple really just cool things. Um, that have come out from the community. This Olaf, yeah, video, which Bob Ross calmness, absolutely, like really good audio compared to my issues that I'm running into right now. I'm gonna make this black too. Can I make the text black? Select color, black. Um, yeah, it might be. Um, with that sort of thing, yeah, I mean, the legs will again. It's because it just has issues with the not having your weight be on your feet. Yeah, usually the way that I solve sitting is I discount the legs from the blueprint or from the component list or whatever it is, depending on what you're in. Anyway, yeah, this is a really cool video from Olaf on making just a scene using Rokoko Mocap and C4D using kind of a low poly stylized workflow. Super cool to have it all. I don't know, he's got kind of a real-time workflow running, which has been really neat. So this is a really cool little video. Um, yep, mega Miley. When in doubt, cut off the legs. The Metaverse show. This is just an interesting like talk show format, talking about the metaverse and kind of some of the ideas of the metaverse. I think that they used Rokoko for it, but I'm not positive. But it's interesting and it's kind of in this world, so it was super cool to see. Little test that was neat to see on Insta using metahumans. Super fun. This was really cool from a very new, I think a younger YouTuber, but they did this whole thing using Rokoko, and I think they probably did some cleanup a little bit because it's very clean, but it's fantastic work on kind of a Billy Mays mayonnaise kind of satire. Punisher Clinton released his big Unreal music video. Super cool to see this. I was helping him a little bit with some of his Rokoko questions, and he also released a really long tutorial talking about his whole process in Unreal. Great. Obviously, everything he does is amazing. He's the best. So that was super cool to see this come out. From Lucas over at Digital Creator School, he did one that was kind of like working on creating an old Disney vibe. He also did an unboxing. If you want to see an unboxing video, it was for Smartsuit Pro I, I believe. Yeah, but still cool to see what's in the box. Kind of a fun one. A little Twitter vid from someone. It's probably Marvelous Designer, I would imagine, but great. Whole integration with the dynamic spline for the rope or whatever it was. Looks really cool. And then finally, there was this music video, which I believe is Hungarian, which used some Rokoko mocap with the Daz character here. which looked great. Great lighting, great integration of the footage. Super fun little piece. Love these little moments where they're dancing. Just really good lighting too. It makes such a difference. And so yeah, there's a couple fun things to check out. Okay, so interesting SMP. You always use a Suits Wi-Fi. Adam, the face tracking is a subscription. So you need to subscribe. There's 30 days. You can do it monthly or you can do it yearly. There's 30 days free, 30-day free trial if you want to check it out. But the mounting rig actually is not needed. And I generally, to be honest, I don't really use it personally. People do love it. Some people love it. I'm not a massive fan of it. I use a jury-rigged system with a bike helmet. But yes, you don't need the rig. But what will be nice is there will be a rig for the Android solution, which will be very light. And it's really great instead of having an iPhone sitting out there. Because the iPhones are heavy. Okay, so that was a good chat. Again, if you're just joining us, apologies for the spotty audio. It's just an issue that we need to fix for the next one. Apologies. And yeah, so I want to keep looking at the chat, but one thing that I wanted to go through, which I've been playing around a little bit, is a Houdini FBX, export workflow. Yes, it is. Mega, let me switch this back to white. Boom. So there's let me pull up, I want to look at something. MBG Core. Some of you probably know who this is. But MBG Core is an amazing YouTube creator who has these incredible ragdoll animations. And ragdoll is something that has always fascinated me because it's really fun and it looks amazing. But it's harder, but it's very difficult to make work. Now there's Unreal and Unity have ragdoll systems and stuff. There's ways you can do it, but sometimes like the Unreal one, I don't know a lot about the Unity one, but the Unreal one that I've seen at least, sometimes it looks really good and sometimes it doesn't. And oh golly, now it's back to, that is so frustrating. You know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to copy this. And I'm just going to make one black and put it below the other one. There we go. Yeah, Unreal is not, what the heck is this? Oh yeah. Unreal is not the best, I find, for it's going to be a lot. Ragdolls in any program are going to be a lot of work, and then to do all that work and have kind of a result that is less controllable, which I think is what you get with Unreal, isn't ideal. Same thing with Unity. And so what I've always dreamt about, and what MBG Core is using, is an old deprecated program called Endorphin, which now you can't find, and people who are lucky license holders and have access to the software are able to use it still. It's really janky. I've played around with the Learning Edition of Endorphin. You can find that online still. It doesn't allow you to do exports, but it gives you these really realistic ragdolls. And it actually, I believe it was bought and integrated into Grand Theft Auto and the ragdoll system there. Although that might be Euphoria, but I think there was some connection to Endorphin. They were bought by Zynga, and then, anyway, you can't find the software anymore, but it was one of the best ragdoll softwares that was out there. So my dream is to... Yeah, Woody. That is my... I mean, again, I've seen the ragdolls look really good in Unreal, but usually when I see them, I think when people enable them and they don't want to go really deep into the physics panel, it is a ragdoll and it works especially in like a game. But if you're trying to get like really weighty, stiff ragdolls, it just looks difficult. And and especially, I think it's, if you're in Unreal already, then that probably makes sense. And again, not saying that it's not good. It's just that usually when I see it, it's just a little crazy, right? The ragdoll is really light feeling, and oh my God, AVT Pro, I'm so jealous of you. Good God, let me know if you ever want to sell that license, and I'll buy it from you. Anyway, but my dream is to kind of create a Houdini file which can take Rokoko mocap, load it into Houdini with a very few amount of clicks, and replicate what you had in Endorphin, which was basically a system where you could load in mocap and have it be performing its thing, and then hit it with a force event, or hit it with some physics, and it will realistically work, give you that ragdoll. And so I think this is very possible in Houdini, and I eventually will have a project file that'll be free that I just want to share with the Rokoko community. I'm not quite there yet, but what I have figured out how to do is, which isn't too complicated, but is useful, is get basically an FBX skeleton export out from Houdini crowds, which you can use to retarget your character to. Yeah, I know the 2.5 is floating around ATV, but like, it's shady, I don't know. Ugh. Yeah, that's the smart move, AVT, not ATV, sorry. You keep that thing forever. Like, use that, make some NFTs or something, I don't know. You can find cracked versions, but of course I would not recommend doing that. And also, if you're trying to really use it, I think it's always going to be a bummer when you're like, I'm using some super pirated, expensive software that I'm sure you would never get sued for, but you could be. And so that's a bummer. And also, like, eventually it'll break. Probably. When they stop using when we can't access FBX like 2006 anymore. Anyway, so you can do all this in Houdini, but the problem was in Houdini with crowds that I always found was that at the end of doing a crowd sim with a ragdoll, which gives you tons of control, you have to export an alembic usually. You export an alembic. And what was so great about Endorphin is you could export a FBX with the skeleton data, which you could then retarget to any character. And with Houdini 18 and 18.5, I'm not sure when it was added, but there's basically an agent unpack. In Houdini crowds, you use agents, and there's a pretty easy way to take your crowd simulation, do an agent unpack to give you the bones, export those as an FBX, and then you can retarget them to a character like you would have done in the Endorphin workflow. So it's going to go through and kind of play around with that. I think it's really cool. Ragdolls are always something that is very interesting and are useful in so many ways. Was it in Houdini 19? Because I'm in 18.5 and I have access to it. Maybe there's an update or something. Anyway, it was recent that you could do this. But let's go through and do it. So without further ado, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be... Woody, alembics are great. The problem became when you have characters with, it's just kind of a mess for texturing. And also alembics, they tend, like you can export out alembic selections and stuff like that, but it's tough. I just find it to be tough. And what I really just want is an FBX that I can retarget to any character. God forbid I need to make a change to my character, and now I have an alembic, which I spent all this time in Houdini, but I can't retarget it to my new character with the new changes. So what you really want from Houdini, from a ragdoll, is you want that skeleton data. So I've actually never really tried this, but we're going to go through it and see what we can do. So we're going to start in Maya. You don't have to, but basically what you need for this process, the way that we're going to be doing it, is you need a character that has retargeted mocap data on it. We're going to export that out to Houdini. That character and that animation, it needs to start in a T-pose because you're going to be retargeting to it the skeleton that comes out of Houdini, and you want that first frame to be a T-pose. So it needs to start in the T-pose. So it's harder to do. Like if I download something from Mixamo, that's going to be more difficult to do my retargeting on the back end once I've done my ragdoll sim. So what you want is you want something that starts in a T pose, and then that way you can retarget back to that skeleton, if that makes sense. AVT Pro, let's see it. I'm gonna open that up. I want to see it. So I'm not even gonna use Rokoko recorded mocap. I'm going to use excuse me, some motion library mocap. And what do I want to use for this? I'm going to use this AMAC because I've done it before. See ya, Pixelfire. Okay, so here I've got my character. This is a project file which is already rigged, and I've already got my character definition set up, which is, we have tutorials on that. I do generally recommend Maya for retargeting. I get the best results in Maya. You can do it in Cinema 4D, you can do it in Blender, you can do it in Unreal, although at that point you're just probably staying within Unreal. But I get the best results usually in Maya. So that's what I use. If you have access to Maya, and they just released an indie version that is actually affordable now, relatively. But it's a great program for mocap and animation in general. It's got all the stuff. Cool. So this is the animation, the motion library. So this is built in natively into Maya. So I have this. It's our mocap marketplace, and what's really cool is because it's natively integrated into Maya, I can download this animation, and I can just import it. This is an animation I bought previously. I can import it directly into my scene. It comes in already rigged and with a character definition, so all I need to do is add that new character into my source, and boom, look, I got my mocap. It's running. It's looking good. It's in 120 FPS for some reason. So I'm going to move it back to 24, even though I usually work in 30 if I'm being honest. And what I was thinking is that we could have this moment, like they stumble and then boom, a big explosion, and we'll use a sphere to ragdoll this guy out of the world. And as you can see, what we still have is a T-pose here. So this wouldn't work for a Houdini crowd simulation where you're like you have a looping running animation, because that isn't going to have this T-pose. This is more for like one-off. I have a scene and I want to have the person get hit by something and have a ragdoll moment, but it's not like the whole crowd is going. I'm not going to retarget an entire crowd using this method. This is for like a single actor, at least in my head so far. Axon, yes, I'm sorry about the audio issues. We don't have a solution currently, and I need to fix that. I don't know what the problem is. Sorry. Please bear with me. Okay. So I got my mocap retargeted. I'm going to bake it to my character skeleton. Again, we have tutorials on all this stuff if you want to learn more about how to do all this, bake it to your skeleton and everything. But basically now I've got my FBX ready to rock. It's all baked onto the skeleton. There's keyframes on this skeleton. Boom, 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 boom. You can see them all right there. Maya and Mobu. Yeah. I mean, the HIK retargeter works perfectly. Yeah. I use temps. I'm not sure what temps is, AVT Pro. Okay, so we have our mocap on our character, right? And for this purpose, actually, the character, because it doesn't matter, what we're going to get at the end of this process is a skeleton that has all the ragdoll data on it. So it doesn't matter what this first character is. Eventually, what I would like it to be is for it to be the Houdini character itself, because that already has all the ragdoll constraints added to it automatically. We're going to have to do it manually in a second. Terabyte. Good to see you. That's odd. I'm not sure why it didn't work. I'm just reading Terabyte. Do you have any insight? I don't, but you should reach out on the Discord to David. Sometimes they need a root bone or a root null or something. But I mean, if it's a rig, it should totally work. You know, like any rig should work, especially in Blender. In Unreal, there's a bunch of weird stuff happening. See Woody for more information. You know, that's its own thing. In Blender, it should totally be working. I don't know why it wouldn't. Okay, anyway, I've got my character. Let's export this bad boy. Hopefully Maya doesn't crash, which sometimes it does. Yeah, it did. So that's okay. I'm just going to reboot this guy and export it again. I have Raphael. I'll try it again. Let me try one actually other thing. Give me 30 seconds. Okay, just changed it out. Maybe it works a little bit. It sounds a little bit better now. Restart the PC. Yeah, that's not ideal, but that would probably help. Yeah, hopefully that helped. I doubt it did though, probably. Okay, anyway, I've got my rescued scene here. Yeah. I'm going to export this mocap out to my semi-messy project folders here. And we're going to call this, staggering mocap. And I have been doing some weird exports recently, but we are going to do a binary FBX 20. Boom. Exported. Okay. Semi-messy. It is semi-messy. It's still audible, as in the issue is still there. ESD. Good to see you. Thank you. We're really excited about it. It's mainly we're excited to just get more suits out the door. You know, this chip shortage really hit us really badly. Obviously, it's been unfortunate. Is a low key way of saying it. It's really sucked, to be frank. But we've been trying our hardest, and now it's looking like we'll be able to, hopefully clear that backlog and get everyone their suits quickly. Before COVID, it was 2 days from your order, the suit was out the door. It's just these chip shortages absolutely killed everyone, it turned out. Okay, so I'm in Houdini. This is 18.5 indie, so everything is unlocked for us. And the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to go into my crowds, and as you'll see, I'm not the Houdini master, but I know enough to jury rig my way through things, like something most of us. Oh, Axon, that's super exciting. Congrats. Yeah, I'm happy that it got to you. Jace, well, we're using FBX with no animation. So what I did is, no, I exported the animation on a character. It doesn't have to be your final character, but on a character, animated character. And I'm going to go to Houdini, add an agent. Then instead of adding a character rig, I'm going to add an FBX. Go track down that FBX that I just exported. It's a pretty organized folder structure. Launch times tend to bring out the crazy a little bit in the old folder structure, but what did I do? Nope, I clicked the wrong one. Getting a little lag here. Thinking? Nope. Okay, click once. Click. Staggering mocap. I want to call this staggering. Oh. Boom, FBX, hit OK. So what we should get, is our animated character. So we have this on an agent, and what we're going to do is we are going to set this up like a Houdini crowd simulation. Yeah, Mega Miley. Yeah. It really hit us hard. It just is. It actually hit everyone hard. That's why there's car issues, and it's because there's basically a lot of things use silicon chips, which I believe ours is silicon. I don't know if that makes a difference, but there's some sort of giant supply shortage in chips that everyone uses, so it hit everyone. Okay, but anyway, I got my agent, got my animation. It's just gonna loop, but that doesn't really matter. And what we're going to do is we're going to set this up as if I was setting up a crowd sim. But instead of a crowd sim, we're going to only use one agent, and we're going to affect them with a ragdoll, and it's going to be a little bit more focused. So we're in the crowd system, but we're not using crowds. And also, yes, audio issues if you're just joining us. Put that one right there. So next step is, and we have tutorials on setting up big crowds with Rokoko Mocap, and you need basically a looping animation usually. Again, this is not a looping in place run cycle that we're using. This is an actual piece of mocap, which we're just using to get a ragdoll out of, right? That's what we want here. We don't want like a whole dynamic crowd that's going to run around and do stuff. That's a whole different process. This is using the crowd system to get a very specific result, like an art-directed result that we want, right? So the first thing we normally do is we add a collision layer. Boom, and we got to go up to the main level to do that. Turns orange, hit enter, and as soon as we add that collision layer, you see that we get all these little dotties. And these dots are basically on each major bone group. And what we're going to go through and do is we're going to go through and click each one, and we are going to make these collision kind of bone areas. So this is this is similar to Unreal, right? You see the same thing in Unreal Physics where it sets up these kind of proxy kind of bones here, and I believe that's the neck. So actually I'm gonna undo that, and I'm just gonna make this a little bit bigger. This is the neck bone, so this is not actually the head. So here is the head. I'm just gonna click on another one so I can see the head. Here's the head. It shows up really tiny, so we just have to resize it. And ideally, again, with using Houdini's native system, all this is set up already for them. And so that would be really nice. And you can click, these things to kind of give you You know, I just hit W to get into wireframe mode, and I'm just going through. Oop, look at that one. See, sometimes they give you a really weird one. You can see, make sure that, see, this is arm twist. I don't actually want this. I might have to use it. I'm not sure why it's an arm twist bone. Hopefully this doesn't break the whole deal. I usually just add one for the hand. And you basically just click, again, these dots. And we have tutorials on this, as I've said. But this is kind of the process of setting up the ragdoll in Houdini. And I'm just doing one hand bone. You could do it for the fingers, but we're not going that deep. Boom. Boom. These, like, I might want to make these a little bit bigger so that they actually encompass the geometry of our character here. You just switch in and out between wireframe mode to kind of get you a better picture of what's going on in there. And this is always a little give and take in terms of it's a learning process. So I don't pretend to know that this will all go perfectly correctly. I'm a little bit worried that those twist bones that we just encountered are gonna jack this whole thing up. But there we go. So that's kind of the process, and that was pretty quick, right? Okay, a couple questions here. Refurbished ones are relatively cheap. The face to my dad's character. Hey, Ria. Nice to see you. Thank you so much. What program are you working in, Ria, for the dad's character? Are you in Cinema or Blender? And also, what dad's character model was it? Is it an 8 or an 8.1? Shouldn't matter, but there's slightly different workflows for them. Okay, so I've defined all my bones. Once you do that, you hit Configure Joints. Click your character, hit enter. Let's test and see how messed up this ragdoll is. Hopefully this kind of just worked, because we don't get any rollies. Yeah, it worked pretty well. Looks like we're getting some funkiness here with some tearing. And it's just because I don't think we've defined this bone. Which one is that? But we might kind of just leave it because I'm kind of more interested in the export process. Try that. Configure joints. Test the ragdoll. Thrill. This is actually using a motion library asset, so it's not even using Smart. I don't even know if this was recorded in Smartsuit, but you can use. You know, it would just this can be Smartsuit data. It just is what you feed into your character in when you're retargeting it. But no, this data is not. So this looks great. This looks like fantastic. Look at this freaking ragdoll. It looks pretty good. Woody, you can kill me, but I think out of the box, this probably looks better than Unreal, but maybe I just really don't know what I'm doing, which is the case in Unreal. So here we go. Ready to, this is looking good. We got our ragdoll set up. What I'm going to do next is I'm actually going to populate this ragdoll. And I don't know if you need to do that, but basically we're just going to use one. And you know what? I'm actually going to undo that, and we're just going to populate it on this grid here. Boom. There we go. We're just going to use one. Spacebar H to recenter the camera, and we hit play. Yeah. We still have our deal. And you know what? Actually, I think we might need to go back and redo this all again, as we sometimes do. But I might not have checked an in-place animation or something like that at some point, because we don't want that when we sim this, we don't want it moving. But let's try it. We're going to simulate. I'm going to do both take 01 and the ragdoll, right? And now when we hit play, unfortunately, it's probably going to be moving. Yeah, we don't want that. See how the particle is moving? So I might need to, how do I change that? I might need to go back and redo some of this. Attributes, inherit velocity. No, I'm going to set initial velocity, which is all going to be 0, 0, 0. No velocity. There we go. So now we have a simulated, a character that can move, and it can ragdoll, and it's looking great. It's amazing. So now what we really want to do is hit this character with something, right? We want to trigger the ragdoll. Ria, you're an 8.1 in Blender. Okay, so retargeting the face. So what the 8.1, depending, I'm going to take a bit of a detour here, and God, I apologize for the audio again. I can't do that enough. But AVT Pro, very briefly, there are ways. You just adjust the cone constraints of the ragdoll. So I could tweak that and make the ragdoll more realistic. You can also just generally make the stiffness of the ragdoll, like bump that up, and that's going to prevent some of those weird contortions, which we'll handle in a second. But you can tweak that. I just didn't. Ria, when I don't know if you're using bridges to get your Daz character out, but if you are using bridges, when you add the facial blend shapes, depending on what level of detail you're using, they might be slightly different. So either if you're doing this live using the Rokoko plugin, you will you will have to go in and manually change the blend shape names to match what's on your character, and that should work. If you're retargeting, which is probably more realistic because that's going to give you the best data, you just, again, you're going to have to, because the names are different, when you copy the data over, you're going to have to do some tweaking. So you might need to rename the blend shapes on the Daz character for the mocap, the Rokoko mocap, to hit it correctly and copy it over. You could copy each attribute individually 52 times. Don't want to do that. But yeah, I haven't actually done retargeting using an 8.1 Daz character yet. So I can't tell you more. It should work though, because it comes with all the blend shapes. I just know that depending on the level of detail, like they might be named like div 2, subdivision 2 at the end of the blend shapes. So you need to go in and make sure everything is looking right. Hopefully that answers your question. I hope to be doing a lot more Daz stuff in the future, because it's pretty powerful. Anyway, okay, so now I've got my character. Let's get back to smashing this character with a big sphere, which is probably what we're going to do to trigger our destruction. We could also trigger, yeah, if it's div2, Rhea, then you have to go in and rename them to the right blend shapes. When you're if you're using the method where you copy all the facial mocap data from your Rokoko imported face, it needs to match the names to copy it from one to the other. So you might need to go in and rename your character's blend shapes, and then it should work. And then you save that character as a base, right? You only have to do it once. That should work. I'd try that. It's the naming issue. It's got to be the right names as you copy. Okay, what we were doing, we were setting up a collision object, essentially. And I'm just going to make this a little bit bigger. Call it a 2. Turn off points here. And then have a null. I don't know if this helps, but sphere out. Tend to do things like that. And what we are going to do is let's animate this guy quickly. So it's like, the way I'm seeing it is boom, and then he gets hit by the shockwave. So he like staggers a little bit, and then boom, hits him in the back. So like right here, what we want is we're going to have this guy. What we're actually going to do is we're going to keyframe it here. Boom. Then we're going to come down quickly so it doesn't mess with it the whole time. This is pretty jury-rigged, as you can tell. And then boom, like that. We're just going to go like that. So the way it'll play out, boom. And we might need to increase, the speed or whatever, which we can do by moving the keyframes around, but we'll get this set up first. Okay, so to make this a collision object, just gonna go up to our collisions. Rhea, get on the Discord. That's the place to be. That's the personal class place. Lots of good personal. I'm on there. Tons of people. David's on there. He's like a personal class, all on himself to help you out. So made this a collision object, as you can tell. It added that into my sim. So now I'm just going to go and I'm going to add a couple transitions and a trigger. And what it's going to do is basically crowd trigger RBD impact data. So when this sphere object 1 comes into contact with our character, it will create a trigger, and that trigger will make a transition from take 001 to our ragdoll. And the only other thing we need to do, I believe, is set our take 001, which is our running take, to animated static. I believe. Let's try it. See what happens. It's good that it's thinking. Takes a little bit of lag. Hi, Nix. And it's not triggering for some reason. Oh, I think I have to set the ragdoll. Wait, why isn't the... Oh, you know what? Okay. So I think I set it up as a static object, which it should normally be fine, but I'm just going to do deforming instead. Sphere object. Let's make this a deforming object. And then I need to add a ground plane as well. Okay, so sphere object 1 is going to be the trigger. Sphere object 1. And then the ragdoll, maybe this needs to be... Oh no, I think it is animated static. Okay, let's try it. Answering Nix. The suit with magnetics, it is better. The best way to test is unfortunately to use... oh, look, it worked, is to use a suit in the space. You can use the magnometers that are on your phone. It's in theory, it's supposed to be a 0.4. Gives you a good result. I've had it with better results. The only real way to know how the suit is going to perform in a space is to test it, in my opinion. So yeah. Okay, anyway, this is working. Look at this. Oh, so it's totally not animated to the right place. So let's go back and let's change. I'm going to turn off dynamics, control, or just click this button down here, turn off dynamics, sphere object, transform, show other all objects here. Oh, great, it's not showing that. Okay, so it's gonna be here. Silly me. Didn't realize that it was offset. Boom. And then boom. You know what? I'm actually going to have it come up from a little angle. So it's going to come up. Pretty hard and fast is the idea. Hide all objects. Okay. Up. Turn dynamics back on. Hit play. Let's see what happens. Where's the link for the Discord? Boom. Oh, there we go. Starting to look better. So obviously, oh, it's hitting the foot first. So this is when, like, you start. This is what's cool about this is you do actually get to art direct this, right? So this sphere, I'm gonna just make this smaller again. So I just want to hit him in the back of the back, and I'm also gonna jack the stiffness up on this guy. So this will give us a more realistic ragdoll, human ragdoll, where its arms aren't going everywhere. Endorphin is, oh God. Endorphin, I think, is better for so many reasons, but also it's limited, right? It's limited in that it's really just not a full setup. It's for a very specific thing, and it's out of date. So as good as it is, what's frustrating to me is that Houdini hasn't implemented this in a better way, because this to me is something that at least I really want. So this is hitting the foot. Let's just have it hit in the back, though. Sphere object. So it needs to, I think, just... Let's try that. So this is like the fun part, kind of, where we're just playing around. Oop that butt, I know. Yeah, I should have set up my animation like better. Okay, that's too much. But where is it hitting? So it's moving way too fast. Okay, like, why is it disappearing? I think I need to add some sub-steps. Let's make this 3 sub-steps. And then let's go, and here we go. So this looks pretty good. Like, this is, as complicated as all this was, to me, what you're getting is something that is, like, infinitely more useful than, I mean, you could hand animate all this, but, like, it's tough to, I'm not a hand animator. And, like, this, look at this. This looks freaking cool, man. This looks, like, really good. What I want to do is have a project file where you can just feed in Rokoko mocap file and then start playing with it. But, like, look, this is a legit explosion, like, for an animation. This looks super freaking cool. I will say it looks cool because I think it does. You know, it's like this. I love dynamics, but like, look at that. That's something that would have been incredibly difficult to hand animate, and it just wouldn't look right. And not only that, I can go in and continue to tweak all these settings. I could mess with the gravity, have it fly further. You know, I could attach, you know, cables to it, to like how they do it with stunt people sometimes when, like, you know, it's getting blown up, like running towards a car and it's getting blown up. What they do is they tie a string, you know, they tie wires to the back of the stunt person, and then they run out, and they, as soon as that string gets taut, they get yanked back. You could add a wire to the back of your character and like do it the same way that they would do it in real life, which is going to give you kind of what we've been trained to see as like stunt work. So this looks freaking amazing. What's the next step? How do I get this exported out so I can go back into Maya and put this onto any character? So let's do that now. And it's really easy to do. What I'm going to do is go into my crowd source. So this is this DOP import or whatever, crowd import. This is what it is. And if you hit W, you can actually see the bones, but you can't interact with them. That's going to be interesting. God knows why that's doing that. That could be a problem. We'll see. Hopefully this should all work. I don't know why that. Dynamic motion synthesis is so much faster. Is that an endorphin thing or is that a Houdini thing? I don't know. But anyway, here's the bones, and like, that's awesome. What I want is I want to be able to pull that into a character. So the way I can actually expose that bone data is I'm going to go to unpack agent unpack. Really useful little thing. Click that. And what I should have now, I should have all the bone data. I'm not actually seeing it. But it should work. This was working before. Wait, was it an agent? What is it? Agent? I thought it was agent animation unpack. It might be. Yep, it's agent animation unpack. Excuse me. Okay, so here we go. Agent animation unpack. And here we have this kind of kin effects, you know, Houdini looking skeleton, which is what it looks like. God, I'm so sorry about the audio again. Can't apologize enough. But here I have the Houdini kin effects skeleton, which you could probably just retarget in Houdini as well. But I want to export this out. So how am I going to do that without using an Alembic? I'm going to use FBX animation output. Sounds like what it is. And when I do that, I'm going to go into clip range, render the frame range, and this is just going to be, we're going to call this 170. I'm going to choose my output FBX file, stagger mocap ragdoll, we're going to call it. And we're going to save it to the disk. Haven't saved this whole time, really playing with fire. I mean, ATV, I keep calling you ATV, I'm sorry. AVT. Yes, there's so many uses for this. And again, it's just once you have that skeleton data of the ragdoll, like that is, this is something that's so useful. And I just think if there was a Rokoko project, there was a Houdini project, which was basically set up to just, you add your animation, because Rokoko animation data is always in a T-pose. You should just be able to swap them in and out and have this system set up. Because the way that they did it with Endorphin is you use this base skeleton. So you use this character that is the same for all of your ragdoll effects. But you're retargeting that skeleton onto a different character in Maya or in Cinema or in Blender or whatever it is. The important thing is getting a skeleton that has ragdoll data applied to it. And at that point, you can do a lot of different things. Right, Victor? Victor Scarby in the chat. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name. Victor, I know about the audio issues. Amazing addition to the content team. Recently, just did so much work on the launch video and has his fingerprints all over that, as does Nicholas, who's another content team member. But anyway, he's saying that we should make that. Yeah, it does sound awesome, doesn't it? Help me. Victor is a Houdini genius. So he will help. Anyway, exported that. Let's pull it into Houdini or Maya, see if it worked. Because again, I kind of tested this, but I didn't test it fully as much as I should have. So hopefully it's just going to work as I think it will. No, not VTuber test. Office hours Ragdoll. Ooh, look at this, baby! Freaking awesome. Here is mocap data with a ragdoll. I mean, this is when Endorphin was a thing, it was an expensive piece of software. I don't remember how much it was. But this is difficult to do. Like, this is a whole thing. And this is why ragdoll effects are often proprietary software. Like Endorphin, it got bought up and it got integrated into a bunch of games and stuff because it was really good. And you'd think that there would be more things to get this going, but ragdolls, there aren't really, especially in film. In games, there's more support, but it's harder to make it look really real. So this is freaking so exciting. So let's apply this to a character, a different character. You know what? I'm going to open up, what am I going to open up? Let's open up like a fantasy characters source file. So these are some fun. Oh no, that's the wrong one. Recent files. Shit. Let's get a real beast of a guy. Boom. We got a big, scary robot here. What do we actually want to make? Because I do want to render something out with this. Oh my gosh, it's almost been 2 hours. I kind of want to do kind of a more low poly guy, I think. So let's go open up a scene. Go find some models. I just made some new scenes. Fantasy characters. Source files, characters. Okay, no, we're going to use this sci-fi pack because I know the characters are all rigged. Okay. So here, I've got this rigged pack here. Seems to already have some animation on him. I don't know why that is. But he is already rigged, and you can actually, this is like from Polygon. There's a bunch of different characters all rigged on this guy, including this robot. That's cool. I don't know. We'll find someone cool to attach it to. You know what? I don't want to do this either. I want to use a big, bulky guy. Sorry. Okay. Fantasy Rivals is what we're going to use. Oh, it's baked already. Okay, hold on. Sorry. Never mind. Nope. We're going to use that sci-fi pack. Okay. Okay, so we got our characters here. Already rigged. So let's import our mocap. Import. Boop, boop. Boop, boop. Go find it. Staggering. Boom, boom, boom. We're going to have to go in and we're going to have to define this bad boy really quickly because I haven't done that yet. And I don't actually have a preset even for what comes out of Houdini because this is the first time. We just want to make sure we're grabbing the hips. That's the hips. Let's go in and characterize this guy. Spine 01. Spine 02. Spine 03. So this, if you've never done it before, is the process of characterization in Maya. And it basically is defining all of these bones. And And we're not going to use the hands because we're not going for super detail, and I don't want to do that right now. But you define all the bones, and then Maya basically knows where to retarget your mocap. And this is a pretty simple skeleton that comes out of Houdini, it looks like. So there we go. Rigged. So now we're going to go character 1, character 2, see if it's going to work or if we're going to crash some. Nope. Looks like it worked. I don't know why this guy is so freaking tiny, but look at this. We're in 120 frames. I don't know why. 24, it should work without stutteries. Oh my gosh, come on now. How freaking cool is that? So you can see that there's some weird ragdollness that I didn't catch in Houdini, it looks like. Looks like that arm kind of gets smooshed in a weird way. This arm right here. Yeah, and it does look great, but here's the thing. I mean, it does look odd, right? This right arm, it does look odd. But this is what's so powerful about this. Because once we have this, now, because it's a skeleton that we are retargeting to, once it's done, now we can go in and make any edits that we would normally make, like using the same normal editing workflow. And that is really powerful as well. So let's say I want to fix this arm. It looks like this right hand. Let's add all of these to an animation layer. As soon as we do that, you can see all the keyframes are gone. And now we can go in, just make some simple edits to our mocap. Let's say we want to, we got to do it on the skeleton. For some reason, it's like over here. So this is like a weird thing with this model, but this might be the rigging on this character is weird. You know what? Okay, fine. We're doing something else because I want this to look great. I think this is a problem with the character, not a problem with the mocap. What do we want? What do we want? What do we want? What do I? Oh yeah, cyber police robot. Yes, I just did this guy. Okay, let's use this dude. He looks freaking cool. Okay, same thing. I'm gonna. Oh, I didn't save that. I'm gonna have to recharacterize. That's okay. When I added it, it uses the same namespace, so we can't use this guy because I'm not going to deal with that right now. Let's use this dude. Okay, there's our mocap. Let's go back in and re-rig this guy, or define this guy one more time. I'll save a preset this time so I don't have to do it again. Pelvis, spine, spine 2, spine 3, left clavicle. Go, 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 go. I want to see it. I want to see cool ragdolls. And we need that neck. And we need that head. And I'm going to save this preset. I'm going to call this Houdini No Finger. Character 1, character 2. Okay, so it was something weird with that rig. Because this guy looks freaking perfect, man. Ooh, Victor, getting into it. Thank you. Yeah, AVT. Could be. Anyway, look at this. This is like freaking awesome, man. This is really cool. And you know what? Because, okay, it's only 12:30. I thought it was 12:50. We got time. Let's bring this into cinema and do some freaking exporting, man. Do some texturing, set it up. Like, again, what I was going to say before, I'm going to bake this to the skeleton right now. But what I was saying before is like, you know, you don't have to use a sphere to trigger this stuff in Houdini, right? You could use an RBD explosion. You could actually use debris from an explosion in Houdini. You know, you probably want to art direct it more than that, but like once you have this, again, the real power of what they've done with this FBX animation export is that it frees you from alembics, and it means that you can, now I can treat this data as just like an asset. You know, geez, go on to Mixamo, go on to even our motion library. You really can't find things like this. And what you could do is you could even sell a big pack of FBX mocap data with these explosions in it. And that would be really useful to people. Like, I should make that. Victor, we're going to make that. And we're going to release a pack of 10 mocap animations with ragdolls applied, because it's really hard to find ragdoll data, and the amount of realism it adds to your animations is just off the charts. You know, it really can't be overstated. So I'm going to, you know, let's save this guy. Let's actually save it. I'm going to call it Interceptor Ragdoll, just in case we get another crash, which we probably will. Maya likes to crash on me when I'm exporting FBXs. Robot Ragdolled. Export all crash. No, didn't. Okay, let's get into cinema, baby. I mean, at this point, we can go anywhere. We can go into Unreal. You know, what render engine do we want to use? I'm going to use Cinema because that's my jam. But again, it's just that we have a dynamic ragdoll, but it's based on mocap data. That is like, it's so powerful because it just brings it out of the world of complicated dynamics and meshing and skinning issues. Once you have a skeleton that is ragdolled, it's like, it's really just, it's so useful. And let's pull this guy in. Let's check it out. Robot ragdolled, baby. It's really tiny for some reason. Don't know why. Let's make him bigger. You know, that's another thing, like with Houdini, which Victor can tell you. We just went through, you know, scales and everything between all the programs. You got to make sure you're looking good. So let's add the proper textures here, and really quickly, base color, normal. Boom, boom, boom. Let's open up Octane, because you know I love my Octane. Let's throw Octane right here. Let's boot it. Let's convert this to an Octane material. Let's remove some materials. Now we got Octane. And like right off the bat, I think what we got to do is set up a little immersive camera situation. Let's make this super wide angle. Come in here. Let's attach this camera. Where is it? Rigging tags. Rigging tags. Let's parent this camera. Constraint. Parent. Parent it to the I'm going to parent it to the chest bone. Boom! Oh no, wait. Oh, look at that! Like, this is what makes it. This is like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm nerding out because this is freaking awesome. 24, make sure we're in 24. It doesn't really matter probably, but like, this is so legit. I'm just gonna say it. I'm just gonna pat myself on the back here because this looks awesome. And honestly, like, this is high quality. this is difficult to do. And what you can also do is like, you know, I mean, let's keep going here. I'm going to render this thing out. This is what we're going to do. Well, real time Octane, not really. Once I throw it on, it's not gonna move so fast. But what I actually want to do is like, let's go in over here and so like this is I'm gonna hide this camera. Let's add a little ground plane here. Let's zero out this camera's coordinates. And like we got our stumbling, you know, let's turn on this auto mode so we just track with our guy here. Boom. And what we can do that's really rad, you know, again, because this is all baked data, right? Let's get some slow-mo involved here. So he gets hit, boom. Boom, you know, and what you could even do is, right, take this guy, because that's not very dramatic. And again, this is all based on the fact that we have skeleton data, right? But let's keyframe this guy. Boom, he gets hit up in the air. You know what I mean? And then when he lands, slightly further. Boom, bigger hit. Like we could make it way bigger, you know what I mean? But the important thing is that we can make all these changes as much as we want, and it doesn't matter. It's really, I just think it's amazing. And now, let's play it in that slow-mo, baby. It's 240 this thing. Oh. You know, let's get a little bit wider here. Boom! Like, so cool, man. Yeah, yeah, AVT, I am making my own sound effects. But this is a really cool animation. And I actually want him to get thrown way up higher into the air. So we're just gonna go like that. Boom, and now he's like getting boom, you know. And if we were in Houdini, we could have done it in a higher frame rate and we'd have smoother animation. But this is just, I think, so cool to see. Let's hide those bones. And he's going a little too slow probably. You know, you're seeing some of that jerkiness. Let's change it to 120. Boom. Anyway, really cool. I'm happy that this all worked. Man, we will be working on that, you know, on that project file, which I would love to release to the community, because I honestly think it's like a game changer, not only for Rokoko, but for, you know, just in general, because it's just really powerful. 20, it's 48, what is it, 90, 96? 4 times quarter slow-mo. 1 month of animation in minutes. I mean, it really is. And when you start thinking about, you know, you could set this up in a much more kind of procedural way, right? Where you could iterate. Like the goal is to have this Houdini project set up. You put in your mocap straight up. It uses kin effects to put it onto the actual agent, the Houdini agent, which is already set up with all the ragdoll constraints for a human. When you use a custom character, and it needs to be set up, but for their basic, it's all set up out of the box. So you put Rokoko mocap onto that character. It's already simmed, you know, and you just have a sphere in the scene, and it's like time to start bashing the character, you know? And I just think it'll be so great. So I'm really excited. Cool robots came from CG Trader and Turbo Squid over years of acquiring models and spending too much money on them. But yeah, that's it. That's pretty much it. That's what I wanted to cover today. You know, I think we'll definitely render this guy out and have a little something to show. Let's make sure to add a ton of depth of field. Boom. I mean, come on. Does this get any cooler? No. Looks freaking great. I don't know why it's not updating. It's frustrating. Weird. Anyway, yes, I know, Victor. Yeah. That's the idea too, is that you just have it playing in real time. And I think, you know, yeah, if it's a Houdini stuff, then thank you, AVT. If it's Houdini stuff, then it probably will. If we're using these custom characters, it might run a little slow in real time in Houdini. But that's the goal, right? The goal is to use their low poly crowd agent, their like base crowd agent, and then you use Solaris, which is their kind of active physics simulation system where you can drag things around in real time and they're reacting like they're a real time collision object, you know, kind of vibe. And then you could just smack them, you know, and you could even do it in, I don't know, you could do it in a slower frame rate maybe, and have it where you could arc direct it really in real time and like nudge their feet certain ways and stuff. But very exciting. I think this is really something quite exciting. So I'm excited to keep playing around with it. And yeah, kind of going to call it there, everyone. This was thank you, AVT. Excited to share this workflow. And thanks, Victor, for hopping on, and everyone else for joining. You know, we're coming back. We're going back to the weeklies. So we'll be back here on Thursday for another one. And, you know, I've been working on a big VTubing series that kind of got interrupted with our Smartsuit Pro II news. But that's coming. And so we'll probably be doing some more of that. And that's where the Daz stuff is. We're going to get into some Daz stuff. Mega, thanks for joining. Again, you know, sorry everyone for the audio issues. I'm going to have to play this back and see if this is something that will maybe just be unlisted if it's too bad. Maybe we'll leave it up. But yeah, we'll have the microphone fixed next time. And thank you all for joining. Once again, here's the Discord. Check out the Discord. Exciting stuff always happening on there. Cool people. Lots of support, and thanks, Victor. Yeah, it's fun to have you on here. And then also stay tuned for a big contest, which I believe is being announced tomorrow, without giving too much away. But big prizes, and will be really fun. So that'll be happening. Stay tuned for the Instagram and the Discord for information about that. I'm gonna log off there. Thanks everyone for joining again, and come back next week, ask your questions, hang out. Let's do it. Cool. Okay. Thanks, everyone. Have a great week. Have a great weekend. And I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.